So, recurring giving is by far one of the most popular and successful methods of online fundraising in the Irish charity and non-for-profit sector. So, we're going to look at that now, but another type of it, which is the subscription-based model. So, when you want to offer something of value, what can you offer of value that doesn't cost all that much to produce? Would your membership be willing to pay a couple of euro a month if it meant they could get video highlights of your games, podcasts, game reviews, photography along the way? Could you think of it as buying a season ticket for games that you can't attend? Three Red Kings is one of the most popular content creators in the rugby space across the four provinces. Its founder is Tom Savage. Tom, welcome to the webinar. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me on. Delighted to be here.
So we're talking about club level, which means we're talking about club level content, Tom. Do you think people are willing to pay for that kind of niche style content?
I do, yeah. In my experience, I think people have been very willing to pay for niche content that exactly meets their needs. And I suppose the direct relevance, to clubs is that, like, with micro donations every month, and to be referred to really as a subscription more so than a charity, it's possible to make decent amounts of money per year. Because if you charge an amount, ideally, that people can pay without really thinking every month, then that's something, if it was around a fiver, 500 patrons per month, could make you end up around 300 or like 30,000 a month or a year, at the end of with expenses and everything else taken out of it, just on one of the platforms. So it's something that could be really relevant to people, because they do pay for niche content that exactly meets their needs.
Yeah, there's some great content out there already, and we see it across clubs, whether it's kind of the ongoing weekly written content, or there are clubs getting into the space around online streaming. What kind of content should clubs be looking at here?
Well, it's content really that you have to be very comfortable in doing week to week to week, because having a consistent schedule is the most important thing. It doesn't have to be a whole load of things, because I've spoken with people before who kind of want to do really complex things and then struggle to do it week to week. So just having maybe 3 or 4 pieces of content that you can really guarantee you can do every week will give people a feeling of value for money. So to keep the emails constantly coming in to make it look, oh well, look, I'm, there's a new bit of content, there's a new podcast or whatever else. It's quite simple. You could do a pretty rudimentary podcast around half an hour long with a USB mic you could buy for €50, interviewing the club coach, the club manager, the club players, the academy guys, guys who follow the fans. Like, there's a whole lot of space for interviews there that you could get set up to do a really professional setup for around a €50 USB mic, and Audacity, which is a free program for mixing podcasts together that's really easy to use. You could do online streaming with OBS. It's a free platform for streaming. All it would take is just a small bit of ingenuity. You could get guys there to get a content stream going. So people who aren't in the town anymore, people who are living up in Dublin, for example, or living abroad, or living anywhere away from the club, can find a way to tangibly support you week to week, month to month. And it's a way to, I suppose, give people an extra digital subscription, I suppose, to a way to kind of support the club, even though they can't physically walk through the gates.
Some good stuff in there. Something as simple as even just regular photographs on a stream, something like that would work as well.
Oh, it would, yeah. I mean, like, one of the joys of one of the platforms I use with Patreon is that it gives you a really easy platform to put everything behind a paywall. You can put photos. It'll host your podcast. You can put private videos up there on YouTube that only subscribers can see. You can put audio streams on there that only subscribers can listen to. It'll go straight to their phone or to their whatever their podcast app is. The means of putting a monetary value behind with stuff that people maybe traditionally put out for free, it's endless. I mean, people will pay for content that is very niche and that is very much tailored to exactly what they want. Because if you look at national newspapers, even local radio stations have to cover a broad base of topics. But if you will say, just to pick a club, Young Munster want to get people, if they are listening to the radio or looking at a newspaper, they will have to, flick past a lot of stuff until they get to the Young Munster content that they want. Young Munster as a club can instead go, well, we will have our match reports, we will have team sheets, we will have underage team sheets, we will have audio, video, as much as possible. We will put up old photos behind this so people who subscribe for $5 a month get value for money for it. And all of a sudden, that content that was going out for free is now a way to provide revenue. So it's something that you're really narrowing in on what people want, because people are busy. People have busy work lives. They have to pick up kids. They have to mind kids. They have to make dinners. They have to do washing. They want to get exactly what they want into their phone so that they're able to keep up to date with the things that they like. And that is the driving impetus behind turning your club to have a digital subscription, like almost like a digital season ticket. If it was looked at like that, and ensure that it was being looked at not as charity but as a service, that is something that could really work for people.
You mentioned Patreon. It's the platform that you use. There's obviously a charge for using that. Talk to me about that. And are there options, other functionalities within that where you could bring advertisers into the mix?
Yeah, well, I have used Patreon since I started up. I found that there was name recognition with it, because again, second captains use Patreon, so that was already inbuilt, so people are kind of more likely to trust it. They also take care of a lot of the problems that come with setting up stuff like this. So they host your podcast, for example, which is a godsend. It's one of the easiest things. You just upload it and they just keep it. A lot of places like SoundCloud have limits, and then you have to start paying for it, and it starts to get different. But here they pay you essentially. So when you look at how much it costs, the ranges that you can sign up for their services are between 5 and 12%. Now, the one I use is 8% of my total monthly pledges. But with that, I get customer service. I get people, there's webinars on there that they have for increasing subscriptions. You can do special offers. The only limit, I think, to Patreon is that they don't allow you for people to pay upfront. But they want to keep it going over the course of the month, and they're very quick to pay as well. They pay straight into bank accounts, PayPal, whatever suits. So I found it very useful. There are other platforms out there, and I would say that Patreon does charge people in dollars. So your price per month has to be reflective of a kind of a rough currency conversion. So because that's a mistake I made when I set up, and it's kind of difficult to change it afterwards. So but that's one of the things that I found, that when it comes to the platform, Patreon, I found is the easiest. There are others, but I found Patreon to be very, very easy. With regards to your advertisers, look, I think that once people are in your Patreon or your subscription base, I think that that's a fantastic added bonus then that you can add to your shirt sponsors or to your overall club sponsors. You could start using their name as an intro to your podcast. If you were doing a live video stream of a match of the weekend, you could have their logo embedded at the bottom. If you're doing an audio stream, basically you're providing your own radio coverage of the game. You could also mention the sponsors at the start and at the end. This is one of those things that it allows you another platform where there's already people who are invested in the club to hear more good things about the sponsors, and that in itself can be a vehicle then for getting over the sponsor to another audience and to give them a feeling of value for money as well.
So look, I mean, based on what you said, this is about turning content into cash flow. And I suppose just to summarize, it's something at the very least clubs should be thinking about if they want to get ahead of the game.
Oh, very much so. Like, as in the entire focus of it is how do we get money from these people who support us? How do we turn that into a viable kind of service for them? Because charity is great, like, and donations are great, but depending on how things go on, you want to have a thing where, okay, well now, because charity always runs out to a certain extent. So you want to be able to give people a thing, well, this isn't charity, this is a service, this is a subscription, this is something that we are giving you a product. And if you approach it like that you're creating a product that you're then selling to people on a monthly basis, and this goes down to daily, what are we doing daily, weekly, that we are giving these people, even if it's 3 bits of content a week, that's enough then to make people feel this is value for money. And it's all about getting your cash flow up. And this, I found, is a way, a good way to get your content monetized, because clubs produce this content every week. It's about making sure you're giving people what they want, and you will find then that people will pay for niche products that they like. And this is a great way to get that cash flow option going.
Tom Savage, Three Word Kings. Thanks a million.
Thank you very much.